Hey, what's up you guys, it's Caboose bringing you another Marvel's Avengers video, and today what I got for you guys here is some talk about DLC and Marvel's Avengers. We got some news and some quotes coming directly from Crystal Dynamics regarding DLC and the way that certain content within the main game at launch is going to hint at some DLC to come for the game. Now before we get into everything, I wanted to ask you guys, of course, if at any point you enjoy this video, if you could consider leaving a like rating on it, it would show your support and I would really appreciate it. So if you enjoy the video at any point, leaving a like rating would be awesome. And with all that said, well, let's jump into this. So a couple of days ago, we made a video talking about some new co-op gameplay details and some new screenshots that were revealed for Marvel's Avengers, and a lot of the information was coming from a brand new Game Informer article that featured an almost overwhelming amount of news. So in today's video, I wanted to revisit that Game Informer article and talk a little bit about the DLC section in the article, in which Crystal Dynamics gives us some insights on the things that we can expect with the post-launch content for Marvel's Avengers. I will once again mention that the Game Informer article itself will be linked in the description, and there is a ton to read through that I haven't covered in this video or the previous video that I made on it, so check that link in the description if you want to get a ton of insight from the developers about this game. But okay, towards the end of the article, it mentions here, the road forward. At launch, Marvel's Avengers hopes to deliver an all-in-one superhero experience in line with the rich pedigree of Crystal Dynamics. But much like the comics and movies, the universe is always expanding. While you can purchase items from the in-game store, heroes, villains, and regions are planned to be added at no additional cost. Now I know this specific topic is something that we've gone over on this channel quite a few times, but I still feel that there are a lot of people out there that don't know this, so I'll reiterate once more. Every piece of post-launch content planned for Marvel's Avengers is going to be 100% free. So that means new heroes, like new playable characters, that will be free. New regions to explore, I believe in Warzone missions, so brand new areas to roam around in. New stories that will come with those heroes, and new villains, which we'll touch more on in a little bit, are all going to be coming to the game post-launch 100% for free. That being said, of course, the game needs to be funded somehow, and that's going to happen through microtransactions. However, Crystal has promised that it's only going to be cosmetic items. So yeah, there's going to be things like alternate suits and nameplates or emotes, stuff like that, that's going to be sold through the in-game marketplace. That doesn't mean that there aren't suits that you can earn within the game. That has been confirmed. There are alternate suits that you can also earn, but there will be some suits that are specific for the marketplace because, again, if they're going to be providing a ton of free DLC for the game, it needs to be funded somehow. But okay, moving on with the article again now, we get a big quote here from Scot Amos, who is the studio head working at Crystal Dynamics, and I've actually met Scott and interviewed him before about this game, and you can just tell he is such a passionate dude. He loves these characters, he loves this story, and he really wants to deliver a great game for everybody. And I once again get that passion from the quote that reads as follows. If we look at the main campaign, that's kind of Kamala in the perspective as the point of view character, reassembling your heroes, getting through the campaign, understanding AIM and MODOK, and that story, that's just getting your team together. Then, as we start adding more heroes and more regions, we actually will add more stories, like full stories that actually have a front and an end, and like, hey, we're introducing a new hero, and here's an actual story arc through that particular region that they may be a part of. That also includes new villains. We'll actually get new villains, named ones, that will start showing up. This world continually expands. It starts with AIM, and it's very much about understanding AIM and the situation with them. That will start evolving further and further as we get more content released month to month and even months past that. So there are some key things there within this quote, and I don't want to look too deep into it. I don't want to overanalyze it. However, there just are a couple of things I want to mention regarding these quotes from Scot Amos. You know, when he's mentioning the fact that we're going to get these new stories, he says specifically that there are going to be new regions and new stories that tie to the hero that will drop with them. And in my head, at least, when they mention something like that, you know, a brand new explorable region that ties to the new character with the story revolving around it, immediately I think of a place like Wakanda, and hopefully that would mean that Black Panther is on his way into this game. And honestly, with or without this quote, I'd say there's a really good chance that Black Panther shows up in this game. He is such a popular character within the Marvel Universe, and without a doubt, one of the key Avengers. So I'd say there's a really good chance he ends up in this game, but I do think that Scot Amos is sort of hinting at that with that quote there. And you know, Scot Amos also says within that quote that the game will start to evolve further and further as we get more content released month to month. So does that mean that we're going to get DLC, or at least just some form of new content added into the game every single month? I don't want to put words in his mouth and I don't want to be misinterpreting this quote, so I'm just going to pose that as a question and not a fact. So please don't take that as the confirmation that DLC or just new content in general is going to be coming to Marvel's Avengers every single month after the game releases. But okay, the last little bit that I wanted to point out from the article reads as follows. Much like in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Crystal Dynamics is dropping subtle hints throughout the launch content to give players fuel to theorize about what's next. And then Scot Amos quotes here once again, some of the hooks we cast into the water on day one. You're like, oh, that's kind of cool. AIM has this undersea base. It's doing some cool technology. I wonder if that goes somewhere. Then later we pay that off with, oh my gosh, that tied to this, and now this other character showed up. Those types of arcs are things we're starting at the core level and then adding these heroes, regions, and villains at no additional cost. Undersea bases that are potentially going to tie into future DLC content. You know, that immediately screams to me none other than Namor, which, I'll be honest, of the Avengers roster, that is a character I'm not necessarily the most excited to play if he ends up being DLC, but it would be cool nonetheless to see. I just hope that Crystal Dynamics doesn't plan to make us wait for some of the heavy-hitting Avengers characters that we want to see as DLC. You know, I don't want to be waiting months to see characters like Black Panther, Doctor Strange, or Captain Marvel to be added into the game. But either way, we're going to be finding out soon who our first post-launch hero is going to be for Marvel's Avengers in an upcoming War Table stream, as that was promised at the end of the last War Table presentation that we got just a couple of days ago. So hopefully that next War Table presentation comes sooner rather than later, but until then, I now want to kick it to you guys. Let me know your thoughts on all this in the comment section below. Based on these quotes here from Scot Amos, what do you think he's hinting at? And also just sound off in the comments, which characters do you want to see the most in Marvel's Avengers as DLC? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and of course, if you enjoyed this video, if you could consider leaving a like rating on it, it would show your support, and I would really appreciate it. I'm Caboose, and you can click on screen to make your way to one of the other videos on the channel, or you can click my logo to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Those links are in the description. Drop a like if you enjoyed, leave a comment if you have an opinion, and subscribe if you're new. See you guys later.